Falcon fans, your Atlanta Falcons have officially put out the 53-man roster, and you are here with no other but Dirty Fanatics United to go ahead and break it down. Let's start the show.
TunePocket.com.
Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Chase, as always, followed by my co-host,
Philip.
What's good, brother? How you doing? And real quick, Philip, if you're new to the channel, man, hit that like, hit that share, hit that comment, hit that bell. If you like what you're getting here from Dirty Fanatics United, if you like the content we're pushing out, show us some love and leave a comment, leave a like. We greatly appreciate it. Philip, how you been, brother?
From today, exhausted. It's been a long day. It's been a long day, man. You know, obviously we had this hurricane pass through, which obviously didn't get too bad like we figured it was. But I mean, so thankful for that. But yeah, it's been a long week and day.
Well, Philip, speak for yourself because Adelia definitely left this mark over here at my house. We got at least, I would say, when I step off the porch, the water is to my kneecaps. So we definitely got a bunch of water over here. Definitely glad everybody's doing okay. The family's okay. No major injuries, so everything else can be replaced. But real quick, man, we're going to give a rundown to what we'll be chatting about today. As we already know, the Falcons have gave us a 53-man roster to look at Tuesday afternoon. That was official. We will be chatting a little bit about some surprise cuts, some waived players that we were surprised about. Our Facebook media poll that a lot of people tuned into at our Facebook group at Dirty Fanatics United and got active with voting. So shout out everybody that done that. We will talk a little bit about some potential free agent signings, surprise roster makes, and always we're going to give you some Falcon news and updates with new signing alerts and more, as well as some Avis Avenue. Real quick, we're going to hit the chat because the chat's already showing some love. So real quick, want to give a shout out to Bubba Gump, always here in the chat with the emojis. Shout out Bubba Gump for tuning in. Lyrics mom in the chat, Kiki, she said, hey, y'all, what's going on, Kiki? Be safe up there in South Carolina. I know the bad weather headed y'all's way. We just took the gist of our part of it. So it's definitely headed up y'all's way. Philip, superstar in the chat. Big Ant in the chat with the emojis. Shout out to Big Ant. Kiki's mom said we're still getting ready to win. So, yeah. Prayers for Kiki and everybody that's been affected by the storm. Familiar face, Philip, been in the chat for about 3 episodes now here back to back. Chase Griner in the comment section. Rise up, brother. Appreciate you tuning in. Much love to everybody that shows us support. We greatly appreciate it. Philip, man, let's dive on into it real quick. Facebook user with the rise up, everyone. Stormy Sapp in the chat. She said, thankful everyone here is safe from the storm. Rise up. Most definitely very appreciated for everything that we're blessed with, man. Philip, real quick, man, let's dive right into it, and I'll start us off with a little bit of Falcon news. A new signing alert, man. We got a new offensive lineman here, and must I say, this is a big body guy that, with already some concerns at O-lineman with depth-wise, we signed today veteran tackle Isaiah Prince. Former, Bengal. He was on the Denver Broncos
this past season.
Denver Broncos this camp. I think he's got 6 starts under his belt since 2019. He's got like 18 career games. Mm-hmm. So This is a guy that's 6'7". He can come in, probably a really dominant run blocker. I'm not so sure about his pass blocking, but like I said, this is a signing. This isn't just a player that we just picked up random off of a practice squad. This is a guy that potentially could make the squad. So it's definitely a guy to watch. That's just some breaking news here that Doty Fanatics United wanted to bring to you today. Philip, man, let's go ahead and let's take this bus on down to Avis Avenue, and hear what your segment's about today over there at your corner.
Let's go. Let's get it, baby. Let me talk to you today. All right. So today I got y'all here, and we're gonna talk about the top free agents in the offensive line and defensive line areas. And also as a wide receiver. Because we have mentioned that also in possible trades. So it could happen. It could happen. All right. I'm gonna just go down the line and just name like all the offensive linemen that I've seen that was the top of that area. So I have one, Colby Gossett. We've talked about him before.
Former vet, been here in Atlanta. I definitely could see him being back in the A.
Same with Jermaine Ifedi, another one. We know what them guys can do.
Jermaine Ifedi there, bro. That's a guy. He competed last year with Caleb McGarry on taking his spot and really gave McGarry that extra push. So, yeah, bro, drop the facts on us.
We know what both of them can do. We've seen it before here in Atlanta. So, you could see a reunion there. Another one on the list is Dalton Renser. We have I really don't know too much about him. But he is, from what it said, like from little clips that I've seen, he's holding it down. And let me remind you, some of these guys are a little bit older in age too, though. So that's the downside.
Yeah, these guys we're talking about right now are guys that are going to be filling holes. Like, none of these guys we're having to pick up right now are any guys that we're having to worry about playing or starting. Like, we're not filling any holes right now. Can you agree with that, chat? Yeah. Y'all agree with that? We're at a 53 with a solid starting roster. I have no worries about our stars. Chats, tune in. Let us know what is your worry. Excuse me. What is your worry about the Atlanta Falcons, and what is something that you think is really, if you're not worried about anything, what is something that you think is very, dominant about this Atlanta Falcon football team? Philip, continue.
Next on the list, we have Taylor Lewan. We have Brandon Parker. One that was familiar to me is Michael Schofield. I have seen a couple things from him, and I like what he does. It's just that great vet look. I mean, and of course, he's not going to take a starting job here in Atlanta because as we all know, our O-line is kind of stacked and it's crazy. We saw it last season. What was the top 10?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, top 5 in run blocking, and
but having something like that, having someone like that at depth, it's good to see and it makes you feel better. So just in case somebody did go down. And then last on the offensive line, we have Andrew Norwell. Some of these stats I tried to find and certain things to look deeper into these players I couldn't find because it was just I'm guessing it was from the storm. But it was acting up a little bit, so I couldn't, But we're going to head on to the defensive side. We all know one of this big name here. We have Akeem Hicks. Surprising, he's still in free agency.
Veteran guy, probably one of those guys that only wants to sign with a competitor right now. I don't know if there's any lingering injury that's keeping him from a roster, but definitely a name to look out for as we look for maybe a replacement for Timmy Horn, but. Philip, as you talk about an Akeem Hicks, I feel like an Akeem Hicks is a guy that's going to want to maybe have that starting veteran role. I'm not sure. You never know. He may be cool to come in and take in rotations. I'm not sure the amount of cap space we have. I don't know. Did you happen to get that?
I didn't.
I'll have to look it up. Once I figure that out, though, I will be able to decide, what players we're looking at money wise and stuff like that. But I think we still have a nice little bit of cash left to go make a splash on a player or two.
But nothing too big. But
and Akeem Hicks to Atlanta, maybe.
It'd be nice.
Real quick, Philip, shout out to Out of Your Falcon Mind in the chat. Big shout out to them boys, man. They doing it big over there. They about to push 800. If you're here in the chat and you haven't subscribed to Out of Your Falcon Mind, please head over, push them on over to the 800 mark, man. They showed us love, invited us to the podcast, and as all Atlanta Falcon podcasters know, we respect each and every one of you. And Dirty Fanatics United will be winning the Fantasy Football League. Just saying, Philip. I haven't told you yet, but we've Out of Your Falcon Mind created a Fantasy Football League, and man, I must say I got a nice little steal in the first round at pick number 4. If you could take a guess, just take a guess who I got.
What position?
No, I ain't gonna tell you position now. Just a guy that is gonna be a top 5 talent that was, top of every fantasy leaderboard. Every prediction, pro fantasy football leaders predicted to be a top 5 pick.
Is he currently? Is it currently
hard, bro? It's an Atlanta Falcon player. Yeah.
Is that one of our running backs?
Just say the damn name.
Is it Bijan?
Bijan, yeah. Yeah,
I didn't want to be wrong.
First round, number 4 pick. I'm excited about it. Got a Joe Shiesty at QB. Some nice receivers, man. Some receiver action. I got a little Devontae Adams. Not Devontae Adams, my bad. Buddy from the Eagles. Devontae Smith. Is it? Yeah, Devontae Smith. And then Juju Smith-Schuster with a Quentin Johnson on the bench. So we're looking pretty straight. Philip, you in any fantasy leagues this season?
I am not. I had a couple friends that wanted to do it, but I did turn them down because I have been doing fantasy for the past 3 years, but I just felt like I wanted to, focus on the season and the team, right. Be focused more on it this year.
Shout out to Intelligent Baller back in the chat on Twitch. Shout out to Intelligent Baller, man, keeping us rolling over there on the Twitch channel. She said, he, she, whatever it may be, said Bijan. They guessed it before you guessed it, Phil. They were already in the comments section.
I mean, I didn't.
They said I got him as my number 2 pick in my PPR league. Shout out to that. That's a nice little solid pick at your number 2 pick for Bijan Robinson, man. We already know he's going to be a workhorse here in the A. He's going to get the ball, and I can't wait to see the numbers he puts up, man. I really think he's the best thing that's worth number 7 since Michael Vick. So really, really excited to see where Bijan carries us. Philip, go ahead and wrap your Avis Avenue segment up with some defensive players. There's a guy specifically I'm kind of in on defense. We talked about it earlier before the live. Go ahead and fill us in on who those could be.
We also have another big name. We have Robert Quinn. We have Carlos Dunlop, Kyle Van Noy. That's that to me, and I like him. You know what I mean? And then we have Chris. I can't even say his name. Wormley.
Mm.
But yeah, those are the top ones that they had. I'm pretty sure they had a longer list, but again, it was going crazy earlier, so I couldn't get probably many more. And then we had on receivers. One I want to mention on this receiver list, Chase, is Kenny Golladay. It's a young cat, man, and it surprises
Kenny Golladay at a receiver.
It surprises me.
3, maybe, with a Cordell Hodge, whatever his injury may
situation is
look like. Yeah, it would be cool to see that. I'm definitely down with it. That wouldn't be too bad of a signing there already with a bunch of rumors in your receiver room as that. But I'm pretty happy, Philip, with what we have.
Yeah, agreed.
At receiver wise, tight end wise.
They look strong.
Everything that Terry and them have done this offseason, I've been ecstatic with.
We at wide receiver, you also have T.Y. Hilton, Sammy Watkins, and your personal favorite, Julio. Who?
Julio Jones, man. That's
Who?
crazy
Who?
to see Julio Jones still playing in the NFL
Who?
and not on a roster at this time of the month. Philip, your thoughts about that real quick. Let's touch on that real quick. Your thoughts about Julio still playing, what he did here in the A to be so special in the A and to no longer, be that top player that he was. I know he's on up in age, but just your thoughts of how did you think his career was going to go and how it has happened? What do you think?
Man, there's a lot I could say on that. Personally, I thought just with him having that, them two was a dynamic duo there, especially. I just seen in my mind from a couple years ago, I just didn't see the man ever leaving personally.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I'd never see the day. But I just feel like I've seen him retiring a Falcon and having with both of them earning a Super Bowl ring with each other. That's
Right.
what I had. That's what I figured would happen eventually. But it came close, but we didn't get the job done. But
Right.
he done so much. So I mean,
since this got brought up, man, I'll respect Julio Jones forever. Will I hate how Atlanta and Julio broke up? After all the years of all the good memories of all the good times, it was definitely a bad breakup. So, like I said, he will go down in the Hall of Fame as a NFL legend for the Atlanta Falcons, and I really do hope he gets to make that retirement with the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know if that may be a one-day retirement. I know Arthur Blank is very, very close with everybody that once played for the Falcons. Man, he really makes a bond with these players. Matt Ryan specifically. You look at Matt Schaub as well. Players like this that he always brings back and always has an organization. I mean, hell, even, Mike Vick, after everything that happened with Mike Vick, him taking a chance on Mike Vick. So Arthur Blank's a very well respected owner in the NFL. And that's enough on Julio Jones, man. Real quick, bro, let's break down what these Falcon fans are here for tonight. Let's talk about this 53-man roster, the official Atlanta Falcons for this football season. Philip, are you ready or what, bro? Not this Sunday, but next Sunday we are in the bins giving them Carolina Panthers straight fucking hell.
We're spanking them. Wait, we ready, baby. We ready.
Real quick before we start the official 53-man roster, let's hit the chat. We got some new people in the chat.
Let's talk to them.
Miss Carrie in the chat, she said, "What's up, Chase and Philip? What's good? Appreciate you checking in. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe if you are tuned in on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. Please do me a favor. If you're on Facebook right now and you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please head on over to the Twitch channel. Please head on over to both and hit that subscribe and follow. We greatly appreciate it." Intelligent Baller said, "Wasn't he with Detroit?" Philip, who was we talking about? I'll have to go back and look. Intelligent Baller. So much is going on right now. Justin Newman in the chat said, "What's good, brother? Appreciate you tuning in, man. Hit that like, hit that share, and ring that bell." Bubble Gump said, "Julio's legs are cooked." Anthony White in the chat said, Julio would sign a one-day contract and retire with the Falcons. Would love to see that happen with everything that went down. Justin Newman said, "I like Jones, but if he didn't do what he did with us, it messed up his career." Facts. Jeff Wolf in the chat, he said, "I just like that a few players that spent most of the season on the team, on our practice squad, don't want Julio back." Intelligent Baller says, "Same here, Philip. I never thought I'd see the day that he would not."
Facts.
Anthony White said, "Lyrics mom, y'all be careful." Facts.
Yeah.
Intelligent Baller with the Carolina Kitty Cats.
That's the Hello Kitty.
Baller was talking about Galladay, Philip. Earlier when they said the Detroit comment. I don't remember who he played with.
It was
the
okay.
Giants. Was it the Giants or was it the
Okay, so he was with Detroit, and then I think they traded him. It's either they traded him or he got signed by the Giants. Some way he ended up on the Giants, and I'm pretty sure they didn't re-sign him.
Man, Philip, let's break it down, man. Let's talk about this Atlanta Falcons 53 official roster, man. As Arthur Smith did say, this roster could change at any moment, as meaning he could cut a player and always replace him.
As we've
Arthur
seen
Smith,
before.
they have been very, very solid on what they've done. And they've been very keyed on what they want as in a football team. So real quick, Philip, I'm just going to run through it. We're going to talk about some surprises that we see here on the 53 roster, some not so much of surprises. We're just going to chat about it. And everybody that's here, man, leave a comment. Let us know who you think should have made the roster and who you think shouldn't have made this roster. Philip, start from the top, man. Our boy Desmond.
Let me hear it, baby. Let me hear it.
Our boy Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, Logan Woodside. That's obviously the quarterback room. Shout out to Logan Woodside for making the roster.
Boy deserves it.
I'm cool with that. Some people would argue and say you should have saved that for like a Parker Hesse move or maybe another D lineman like Timmy Horn or something. I've seen the arguments on Twitter. I'm not going to name any names, but I've seen it. Philip, your thoughts on that real quick with carrying a third quarterback on the roster?
Well, personally, if that move right there, I think it's the right move. Just say one goes down, boom. Even in practice, it happens all the time. I mean, yes, it can happen to any other, position as well. But those certain players are designed onto the practice squad for a reason. Something happens to this specific player, boom, activated to this guy. This guy gets activated. The move to me is a smart decision, honestly.
I think it also keeps Taylor Heineke on his heels.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was getting that. Yeah,
I think that makes that player, have to fight even harder to even make the roster or to keep his job on this roster. Philip, real quick, moving on to the running back room. Bijan Robinson, of course, Tyler Algier, and Cordell Patterson. That's the three running backs that you carry into the season. Real quick, I will say tough to see Carlos Washington and Godwin Egbobeke both walk. Potential practice squad players. I think Egbobeke will be back.
I think he's on the practice squad.
Okay, he may be. I have to look further into that list. But as we predicted, Philip, you only carry one fullback into the season as Keith Smith, Willette, and Clint Rakovich walk. So, we was pretty solid with a lot of these Collins signings and cuts that we predicted here at the show. So, our first year here doing it at Dirty Fanatics United, and I would say we hit it pretty much on the head.
Spot on.
Where, man, I mean, what can I say is what we do. We dirty birds, you know what I mean? Heading on to the next room, Philip. Some would argue that this is our weakest link, and this is our receiver core. You got a Drake London, you got a Matt Collins, you got a Scotty Miller, a Kadero Hodge, and our boy that we predicted, Josh. Philip, your thoughts on those four receivers? Chat, a comment here, man. Let us know. Chase Griner said a stacked running back room. That it is. We have multiple spots to go with the ball and plenty of people to rotate in and out to keep a healthy Bijan, Cordell, and a Tyler Algier. Philip, just real quick, the key on that. All three are different play styles, bro.
That's the scary part.
All three are different play styles, bro. It can go any way. So, I really like what Terry and Arthur Smith's building here in Atlanta. Next room would be our tight end room, Philip. I think this is where a couple surprises come in, not merely for us, but a couple of people. You got your boy Kyle Pitts, your boy Jonnu Smith, your boy Michael Pruitt. And with that tight end 4 spot, Philip, keying in John Fitzpatrick. Philip, your thoughts on John Fitzpatrick officially making a 53-man roster and not being a player that's on the IR for the whole season?
Personally, I think it was the right move, personally, because you want that tall and like the height of that tight end like he is, and he is just, with his height and his ability to block and also receive the ball, catch everything. It's just crazy to think about because not many people that big move that athletically at that certain, But to me, it's a bigger step than what we have with Parker Hesse. Not downing him down because he did his job multiple times, as we seen last season. You know, but I just think it was the right move, and I'm happy that we've done that.
Just real quick to
It's a
just
big end zone target.
Give my kind of thoughts on it, man. We talked about it on our podcast before the initial cut date, and we said, I'm pretty sure I may have to go back and check, but I know we said it's going to be a tough decision, but we think maybe John Fitzpatrick over Parker Hesse. And the reason being I say this, Philip, is because John Fitzpatrick was Arthur Smith's draft pick. He was drafted by Arthur Smith. Parker Hesse was a project from before. He's been here before. He made dominant blocking schemes. He just was never that red zone target. And I think that's where John Fitzpatrick beat him out on the aspect of being that tight end four, because any tight end can block. But when you've got a tight end that can block very well and still be a red zone target, like, I don't know, Michael Pruitt, Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith, John Fitzpatrick. Do you see the trend, people? Do you see the pattern? These players are really bringing a lot of targets in for Desmond Ridder, a young guy that's looking to thrive this season. From what I've seen, Philip, real quick, from what we've seen preseason, your thoughts on Ridder? Is Ridder ready for week one? And do we finally get a week one dub in the Benz?
Damn right we do. Personally, from what I've seen, our offense was thriving. We was against a Cincinnati defense that is no slouch, man. I mean, we was thriving. Of course, we had a crazy, end zone type of deal, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, if you look at the flags, bro, that drive was shit from the start with the flags, and for him to still drive us.
But for them to move the ball and as fast as they did, it looks just really well with the mix of Bijan and the mix with it, breaking ankles. Like he's been there for 10 plus years or something. It's just crazy. The receivers looked comfortable. They looked locked in. They looked like they was on point. I feel like we're getting the job done week one.
Facts. Real quick, just a couple words on Desmond, man. I'm really, really glad with what I've seen. I've seen a lot of, like we said before here on the channel, and I feel like I'm being a broken record, but Desmond Ridder was pocket present awareness was magnificent to me. His footwork was very nice. The way he was distributing the ball to all targets, not just one guy.
Getting out of the pocket.
Reading his second look, doing his checkdowns, being a smart quarterback that can be a QB1 in the NFL. Desmond Ridder still has a long road to go before I say he's elite or he's, that guy. But I really hope this is the year that Desmond proves all the haters wrong and really solidifies QB1 here in Atlanta. Because, Philip, if we're being honest, bro, if Desmond doesn't do it this year, dog, they're drafting a quarterback next year.
Oh, that's definitely.
Chat, just real quick before we move on to this 53-man roster, let us know in the chat what your thoughts on Ridder's preseason performance, where he could have produced better. And if we get enough people in the chat, man, we may just go ahead and drop the link for somebody to pop up in here and talk some Falcon football with us. Philip, while they do that, let's run on to the next spot at the tackle position with Jake Matthews. This is where it kind of gets iffy. This is where you kind of worry about depth and O-line. You got a Jake Matthews on one side. You got a Caleb McGarry on the other side. And then you got a one depth piece with Josh Miles. Sheesh. Sheesh. Your thoughts on that? And still remember, people, we do have the practice squad. We do have people we can pull up and rotate in and out of that. And I'm sure we can always go grab tackles. I'm sure they're doing their due diligence, looking right now to see if they want an offensive lineman. That's why I had Philip today bring up facts about Jermaine Ifedi being a free agent now, Kobe Gassett, people that's been in this familiar scheme. So, something like that to look at. Philip, real quick, heading into the next subject, we go to our guard position with a starter in Matthew Bergeron, a starter in Chris Lindstrom, a starter in Ryan Uziel, and then you got, Ryan Uziel is a starter. He's a backup piece. And then you got a backup piece in Kyle Hinton. So guard, not too worried. You got a little depth there. You got 4 people on the roster at guard, so that's 1 person behind each guard. Any surprises there? Anything you've seen that should have been different?
I mean, from the names that you called out, I mean, I pretty much figured what happened anyway. But I mean, just a little, like speaking on like the guard. I think it was not the guard, tackle. I'm pretty sure tackle part is the kind of, if we need a little bit of depth there. But like you said, like we did mention, we could go get like people like Confetti, some people that know the scheme, that fit perfectly. So, I mean, it can be a little but if you look at it a certain way, it ain't like that, But at this standpoint, as of right now, everything looks good, but it can one little thing happens, it can look bad, but there's just a good thing. We do have certain players that we do know that can come from either from the practice squad or from free agency that we do know. So that's a good thing. So we're not totally in the, bad.
Right. Intelligent Baller here in the chat says, I see London having a breakout year under Ritter. We've seen it last year. We've seen him come in those couple games and really change the play style that Drake London was. I mean, he just seems to excel a lot better with Desmond Ritter because he was actually getting the ball thrown to him and not over him. Intelligent Baller said, that's crazy. Did we let Parker Hesse go? Yes, we actually did. I think, Phil, that we cut Parker Hesse, or did we waive Parker Hesse? I will check that next list here in just a second. Intelligent Baller said, oh, snap. A lot of surprising cuts this offseason. A lot of surprising stuff that, that's been going on for, not only Arthur Smith, but Terry. They both have a very hard job. Philip, Facebook user here in the chat, said, what's up? Rise up.
I'm pretty sure we waived him.
Did we waive him?
I'm pretty sure. From what I seen the other day, I'm pretty sure he got waived.
Our Facebook comment, Philip, was from Shannon. Shannon in the chat said, what's up? Rise up. Appreciate the view.
Rise up.
If you're on Facebook right now watching us, if you haven't went to YouTube, please head over to YouTube, hit that like, hit that share, and most importantly, hit that subscribe. It really helps us get this thing out. There's 8 viewers right now. Wherever you're watching, please head over to YouTube, hit that like, hit that share, and hit that subscribe button with that bell. Philip, real quick before we head on to the next subject with our 53-man roster, which is real quick, we'll go over to the center. Drew Dahlman, Javon Gwynn. No surprises there. We knew who those were going to be heading into the season. And real quick, Philip, before we hit our defense side of the ball, we are going to go ahead and give our W sponsorship their ad, and we'll be right back after this quick video. Shout out W. Shout out W. It's a Jitterless energy drink blend. No crash, no jitterness. It's all energy, straight natural from just caffeine, fruits, all, like I said, all good stuff for you. If you do happen to check them out at w.gg, check us out with the discount code Dirty Birds, all caps with the S. That's Dirty Birds, all caps with the S. We greatly appreciate it. Philip, heading on to the next one, man. Defensive lineman, my favorite position. Here we go, bro. Go give a quick rundown here. Grady Jarrett, David Onyemata, Calais Campbell, Daquan Graham, Zach Harrison, Joe Gaziano, and Albert Huggins, a guy that we talked about early into the preseason. Your thoughts on Albert Huggins making the list, Philip? Any surprises here for the defensive lineman?
On Huggins, personally, to me, it wasn't a surprise at all. Dude was just straight. He was straight balling out there during preseason, even in camp. Something that like me, you, and our dad. We was just sitting there. We was just talking about him today, like. We seen it coming, we seen him going to make this roster. It's no surprise to me that he's sitting there. And dude's just, he's explosive. And I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. It's fine.
This
It's
this
crazy.
is where the Timmy Horn effect came into play because Albert Huggins beat
He done
Timmy
his
Horn
thing.
off this roster. That's how Albert Huggins is on the roster. He did something in training camp. He did something in preseason that caught the coach's eye. And that's why he's out there to be that rotational guy for the
It's just
Atlanta
crazy.
Falcons at D lineman. Philip,
The
heading
pressure.
into another favorite position of mine. I just love defense, bro. There's a lot of positions I love on defense. We're going to talk about our outside linebackers with Lorenzo Carter, a Bud Dupree, Arnold Ebiketie, and a D'Angelo Malone. A player that's seen a lot of preseason snaps. Philip, your thoughts on the outside linebacker room? Any surprises there? Anybody that you think should have made it over? Who made it? Just your thoughts all in general.
So we're talking about linebackers. Okay.
Outside linebacker, Lorenzo Carter, Bud Dupree, Arnold Ebiketie, D'Angelo Malone. I still got inside linebackers.
Okay, so pretty much those to me were our picks anyway that we talked on the last show. We seen them making it, so not really a surprise there. We all know what they can do. And
DSGB Hall said, "I mean, we got a real deep tight end room. Everybody couldn't make it." Facts.
I agree.
We 100% agree. A lot of hard decisions. We both agreed we would not want to be coaching this particular season because there's a lot of talent that was on this roster. Intelligent Baller said, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button, Dirty Falcons United. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. If you're on Twitch, please hit that follow. Philip, heading on over to the next position group, we got inside linebackers with a Caden Ellis, a Troy Anderson, Nate Landman, and a Tay Davis. The two guys at the very end of that list, Philip, we mentioned here on this podcast and said that Nate Landman would make the 53, and we also said Tay Davis would be in mentioning of making the 53 roster. Philip, your thoughts on Nate Landman and Tay Davis making it in a room with a Caden Ellis and a Troy Anderson?
Personally, that speaks for itself because them two in general, they're fast. They do their job. They execute perfectly. And my thing was between Tay Davis and Frank Ginda.
Yep,
to me,
Frank
that was
Ginda.
a race. He was also doing his thing during preseason. So for me, for Tay to make it, he apparently they've seen that extra step out of him than what they did Frank Ginda, because me and you both thought Frank Ginda could make this roster as well.
Right.
So to me, it was a little surprise that he didn't make it, but also not really a surprise that Tay Davis.
Well, Frank Ginda is also a player that was waived, so there's somebody we can still see here on the practice squad group. If another team doesn't grab him before we have the chance to use him, being the chance we may not need to use him if we can stay healthy this season. That's going to be a big key this year on the Atlanta Falcons' success, is if we can stay healthy.
That's something we want
and continue to produce in the A. We got to have home field advantage this year. Philip headed on to the next position group with cornerbacks and a A.J. Terrell, a Jeff Okudah, a D. Alford, a Trey Flowers, a Mike Hughes, question mark, and Phillips. Philip, your thoughts on the cornerback room, and then I'll give my thoughts on it. And just let me know what you think.
Personally, I just feel like they made the right move on the corners that we did right there. I mean, we all knew Clark Phillips is, we knew he's that, that stud. One of them in particular, I'm ready. That's what I was saying. It was Jeff Okudah. I'm ready to see him back, and I'm hoping he's ready for week 1. If not, it is okay. I'm just ready and hyped to see him do his thing, because you and I both are really high on him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just hyped to see what our corners, the whole cornerback room does as a unit, man. Because they all can play at certain point of the season, as rotation or just certain schemes. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see any of them because we know what they can do.
Right. We talked about it a little bit with the cornerback room being so deep with so many players. Hoping for a healthy Jeff Okudah, hopefully by week 3. I've talked about it a lot with the question mark by Trey Flowers, the question mark by Mike Hughes. I wanted to see more out of Trey Flowers, but he somehow made the 53. So coach sees something that I don't see. So that is cool with me. You know, whatever coach says, I'm going to rock with it. And I know he will be that cornerback until Jeff
apparently he's
back.
doing something in practice that's shining, and he's loving.
The Mike Hughes is the question mark for me. He seems banged up. I haven't seen enough from him, so I would like to see. You know, we do have him. You know, Butler from the Patriots is coming in today for a workout. Could be a depth piece here until Jeff Okudah could get back to 100%. If Mike Hughes is really banged up like he is, so definitely a position to watch. Philip, we're going to close out real quick with the at the 53-man roster with the safety group, with the Jesse Bates, a Richie Grant, a Jalen Hawkins, and a DeMarco Helms.
Told you, big dog.
4 safeties on the roster this year. Philip, your thoughts on the roster? Bad news on Jalen Hawkins today. I heard he did go down today with an injury, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that.
My dog, the guy wanted to make it, made it, but he got injured today. Damn. But speaking on that, one I'm really excited to see in the safety room, other than Jesse Bates, obviously, is DeMarco Helms. Mm-hmm. That boy, we've seen it pick back-to-back weeks. I mean, it's crazy. I'm hyped to see
everybody's hyped to see DeMarco Helms.
I'm just ready to see that boy hit the field, bringing that energy that he did from preseason. It was just from me sitting there watching it, I wanted to jump down there with him. I wanted to go through the screen, jump down with him, and have fun with him. But it's just, I'm just ready to get the season started, man.
There was a lot of question mark around the Jalen Hawkins making the 53-man roster just because of the type of production that DeMarco Helms was putting out this preseason and training camp. So when you get a 7th-round pick, Philip, that's really pushing to take a man's spot his first year is huge. Not Mr. Irrelevant, but one of our later picks, you could call him, the Falcons Mr. Irrelevant because he was a late pick. For him to come out and get the interceptions that he did is huge.
It's crazy.
I think Terry and them has really hit on the 53-man roster. Philip, real quick before we get ready to close out, I will bring up the the waived and the reserved injury list. Real quick off the top, you got a Micah Abernathy. He was waived, safety. Philip, let me know when a name stands out to you if you think should still be on the squad over who. You got a Micah Abernathy. He was waived. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside released.
That was crazy to me. That's
wild. I thought that was kind of wild myself, but, obviously something there.
I'm pretty sure.
Go ahead.
With J.J., I'm pretty sure what got him fully released was the injury he took in that last preseason game. That to me, that's what done it. But
yeah,
let's not downplay that he ain't or he can't be that guy because we've seen the crazy catches that he did, and after that created the injury, he laid himself to get that ball. He's gonna be a baller. So whether maybe he makes it out somewhere else, good luck to him. But yeah, I can continue.
Headed to the next one. We got a Cornell Armstrong cornerback. He was on reserve/injury, so that's why he was obviously set on that list. We got receiver Slade Bolden. He was released. No, Slade Bolden was waived. Breon Borders, cornerback, was released. And then you got Natrone Brooks, cornerback, waived. Safety Cliff Chapman, man, the guy I was kind of rooting for, he's waived. Luca Dennis was waived. Tucker Fisk was waived. Philip Frank Genda was waived.
That was wild.
Cornerback Darren Hall was waived. Defensive lineman Damone Harris was waived. Receiver Keelan Harris was waived. Offensive lineman Jonathan Harrison was released, and Penny Hart, receiver, was reserved / injury. Tight end Parker Hesse waived. Timmy Horn waived. Godwin Agwabeke waived. Mike Jones Jr., the one that wore the green dot in the last preseason game, also waived. LaCall London, a guy I was big on this offseason, this preseason, thought I seen enough out of him for him to make the roster, or at least the practice squad. He was waived, so potentially could make practice squad. Philip Zay Malone, a guy we was kind of heavy on over here, wasn't sure if he'd make it, but knew he was fighting for a spot. He's waived as well. Michael Minute waived. Kayvon Patton was waived. Clint Rakovich waived. Trevor Reed, offensive lineman, waived. Matthew Sexton waived. Justin Schaefer waived.
Practice squad. I see it. I definitely see practice squad.
Andre Smith Jr. released. Offensive linebacker, outside linebacker. Kimoko Toure, he's been released. Tyler Babel waived. Carlos Washington Jr. waived, and offensive lineman Barry Wesley is also waived. Philip, other than what we spoke, any surprises there? Anybody you think should still be on the roster over any certain player that's there right now? Just chat, tune in, let us know. If you're here, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. We're on the road to 500, man. We want to make 500 by the end of the season. We're at 220 right now, I believe. We've gained 2 subscribers since this podcast has started tonight, so we greatly appreciate it. Continue to hit that subscribe button. Philip, any surprise cuts there or / waves?
I mean, I was surprised on Frank Yenda, but if Smith and Terry think they seen something out of Tay Davis, the others, I am totally fine with it. I don't see what they do every day in practice. I don't see how they develop, how quick reacting they are, their smartness to the playbook and stuff like that. We don't see none of that. So I don't really feel like anybody that didn't make the team of the 53-man roster, I don't feel like they, I'm confident enough to say that they made the right decisions.
Nice. Always love to hear that we are 100% behind our Atlanta Falcons, and whatever the front office moves make, we are cool.
I'm down with it.
Bubba Gump says Abernathy's on the practice squad. He says London is on the practice squad, and he also says Sexton, Vrabel, Wesley, and Brooks are all on the practice squad. Philip,
I agree.
Agree, disagree?
I agree. One mainly I do agree is Sexton, because I was very impressed with him. And in the preseason, but the rest of these names, yes, I do agree as well.
We've seen a lot of the Sexton at the punt return and the kickoff return in the last preseason game. Maybe a guy you see sneak in on, special teams this season. Something to watch. Philip, before we close out, we're going to end it with our poll, our Facebook poll that we did, just to get the fans involved, just to see what they thought. I made a poll on Facebook. I said, Atlanta Falcon fans, what is your expectation for this year's Atlanta Falcons? Let me know. At everyone, something we will talk about on the next podcast. So I made a little poll, and I put NFC South champs, flirting with 500, basement dwellers, wild card playoff team, and possibly. Then some fans in the group, they added 2 more spots. And they added Super Bowl winners, and somebody also added NFC South champs / NFC championship game. So, Philip, just off the top, I'll give you the first poll. And the first poll was NFC South champs with the majority of votes at 78%. That was 41 votes at 78%. Wild card playoff team with 4 votes at 7%. NFC South champs / NFC championship game got a total of 5 votes with 9%, and then Super Bowl winners, of course, only had 2 votes with 3%. Philip, your thoughts on the poll? What do you think about the fan base having so much love for these Atlanta Falcons this year, setting the bar so high? Is this a good thing, or is this a bad thing for us to have so much faith in this Atlanta Falcons team?
I don't find it a bad thing at all. I think this is what we need to get our hopes back up and for us to get back, us fans to get back into it instead of, go like when we go to these games, everybody's just look like they're just asleep, man. We got to get back into it, man. This is our chance, man. Since 2016, this is that we are back and we got to be this team as a fan base. We got to be linked. We can't be disagreeing or fighting with each other or even arguing with each other. Like, man, we got to be like family. We got
I
to
definitely
do this.
agree. This year is huge. This year is the year that we haven't seen in a while. This is the year that we had the most talented roster since probably 2017. So a lot to look at there. Real quick before we close it out, Philip, any shout outs, any links you want to put out there, any social media platforms you want to get out here tonight? Just let the people know, man.
My first thing, shout out, like I do every week, shout out to God, especially in this time. Nothing really was too badly damaged, during this hurricane. And for us in general, we are blessed here, as for you as well. Shout out to everybody working on our, our lines and everything else that probably got knocked down. Thankfully, we didn't get knocked down. So shout out to them and hoping they are safe as well. Shout out to all the fans, supporting and then interacting with everything we do, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook as a poll, etc., and things like that. So, and pretty much that's all I got to say. And as always, for me, rise up, baby.
Facts. Just to add on, my shout outs would be shout out to all the new subscribers, everybody that's hit the bell, everybody that gets the alerts to go live, all the positive comments after the live videos that y'all leave. There's always one or two people that comment after every video and leave a solid comment. So we greatly appreciate it. Like I said, if you are viewing this after the live, please leave a comment so we can see who's viewing. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that share. We greatly appreciate it.
Your friends.
I want to give a shout out to the Atlanta Falcons for hopefully an exciting season to come. Football is right around the corner. Like I said, and not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we will be in the bins. Not sure what section yet, but we will be there. So if you're there, hit us up. Hit the inbox, hit Philip's inbox. We'll be glad to meet up in Leak and help maybe get a drink at the bar or do a fucking interview and talk some Atlanta Falcon football. So once again, shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. Philip, man, appreciate you for coming by. I know it was last minute. I kind of hit you up there and said, let's do a podcast.
All good.
We're gonna start getting these. We're gonna start getting these out a little sooner. I want to do at least 2 a week. For now, though, you can expect to hopefully see us Sunday night at 7:00. You can catch Dirty Fanatics United on Facebook in the group at Dirty Fanatics United. All you have to do is look on there, follow us. We're making a nice little growing there at 153, I believe it is. So shout out to everybody that has joined the Facebook group in the past week. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe here on YouTube. Please hit that like button. You don't understand how much that helps us spread this video out. Please, like I said, head to YouTube and hit that like.
Agreed.
On Twitch, follow us on Twitch. Enough rambling from me for the night. Philip, I greatly appreciate you, brother. Chat, we appreciate you. Viewers, we appreciate y'all. Yeah, that's all we got here on Dirty Fanatics United for episode 18. Thank you all for viewing. Once again, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe.
Tell your friends.